Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Natalie and this is Life After a Cult, where we talk about what? Scientology, cult, and more importantly, life after a cult. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to get into some good culty recap stuff today, including talking about how Scientology Audit Streets LA was swatted. And he also shared some fashion advice, which honestly, now I'm going to show you what he shared, but now I want a pair. We're going to talk about all kinds of protesting that's been going on, including at Baby Blue. We're going to talk about how Scientology is coming for your small town. Of course, we have to go over some volunteer minister news and a bunch of other stuff. But you guys know what today is? Aloha Friday. Ooh, we need to come up with some music for Aloha Friday. Can't be a song I can be copyright struck for. So any of you who like to create music, could we come up with a fun Aloha Friday song to play on Aloha Fridays? Maybe even other times? I know there's apps and stuff you can do it with. I keep thinking I want to do it, but I don't. So if somebody likes to do that, give it a shot. Aloha. Thank you guys for throwing all those alohas in the chat. I absolutely love it. Thank you to the members for being here. Thank you to the moderators and everybody in the live chat. Let's jump into some stuff. But first, before we get into massive cult stuff, I saw something. And for those of you who live in Florida, I just got to say, why? For me, Florida is too hot. But when I saw this, I remembered, yes, this is part of why I don't think I could ever move there. Because this is crazy. Well, hold on a second here. Hold on. Let me pull up my right clip. This is the kind of stuff that gives me nightmares, you guys. So for those of you that live near this, I'm like, I don't know how you do it. Oh, I just don't know how you do it. Hold on. Why isn't this pulling up? Hold on a sec, guys. Thank you for keeping the alohas coming. Thank you for that. There we go. Now I got it. I saw this and I'm like, I'm going to have nightmares for a week. Y'all in Florida. I think about my friends in Florida. I think about people. My mother's from Jacksonville and I still have some family out there. But look at this. I just cannot. If I saw this walking down my street in the neighborhood like he pays rent or something, I just could not. And these gators, alligators, it just seems like they're just running all over the place in Florida. And I don't know how you guys do it. This is terrifying to me. I could not go out to the bushes, anywhere near the bushes, and have this going on. I don't know how you guys do. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they caught it. I don't know what happens when they do catch it. But Paula, good point. At least he knows where to cross the road. I know. I mean, am I the only one who just gets freaked out by this? I'm just like, this is scary to me. This is scary stuff. But I just had to share that because I'm like, that is a giant gator. And I've never seen one no, it was at a gator park in Florida. Even the few times I've been to Florida, I've not seen one of them. Me and Taz, that is probably the only animal I could outrun because I don't think they run, right? They just kind of mosey. Yeah, I totally could. There is that. I would be protected. So I am happy about that. All right, now let's look at something else. Let's look at something that T per Scientology Audit put together about the volunteer ministers to kind of kick off some fun here on Aloha Friday. We're just going to look at a clip. I'm going to link this down below along with all the videos, articles, things we're going to look at in the description of this video so you guys can check it out in full.
Yo, Marisol Nichols, what you trying to do? Recruit an army in yellow? That ain't the move. Fires are burning, lives getting wrecked, but you got vulture ministers cashing that check. It's a TikTok takedown, Clover and Foodie on blast. They caught y'all swiping donations fast. Rose Bowl to Santa Anita, what's the plan? Stacking free supplies with a truck in hand. You're wearing yellow like you work for the town, but you're vultures circling, taking what's around. Ain't no heroes when the victims cry. You're passing out pamphlets while homes say goodbye. No.
And that was Marisol Nichols there, the actress, who's also a Scientologist.
More yellow jackets, we see the disguise. You ain't saving souls, you're taking supplies. Stop the recruitment, don't twist the pain. Fire victims need help, not your bridge to gain.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's such a good song. I'm going to link it down below so you guys can check out the whole thing. Nancy just threw in the chat that, did I just see the maximum speed of an alligator can reach up to 35 miles per hour, travel speeds on land? Oh, I take back what I said. Oh, cannot. Auntie Feral Cheryl would scare the crap out of the alligators, James Steele says. I don't doubt it. I got to ask. Oh, Feral Cheryl is here. Okay, Feral Cheryl, have you had an encounter and how do you deal with it? I would be walking around Florida like on high alert. My nervous system like would just not calm down. I would be stuck in fight or flight. Now, I mean, seeing stuff like that, it just makes me crazy. I don't know how you do it. I would be so afraid. I will take a Minnesota winter any day. I will take 20 below weather for a little bit just to avoid gators that look like dinosaurs. Aloha, everybody. As you guys are all coming in, do me a solid and head over and hit that like button. Help us get some notifications out. Thank you, guys. And if you're on the replay, welcome. If you're new to my channel, if you have any questions, put them in the chat, put them in the comments. If I'm not able to answer your question, somebody in the chat usually can. We welcome you. There are no dumb questions. So ask away. Okay, Feral Cheryl says, yes, there's an alligator in our retention pond. There are snakes hiding out in the bushes. You don't just walk around the grass without looking down. Nope. Florida is not for me. No. I couldn't do it with giant animals like that could outrun me. I mean, I don't know what the equivalent of that would be here in Minnesota. I mean, in the suburbs and in the city, it's not like we got to worry about bears. You know, if you were on up north, maybe. Oh, Nurse Lori, you're just making it worse for me. The falling iguanas is pretty weird too. Oh, for sure. Yeah, now for sure. I might not ever be able to go to Florida again. Is there a way we can train the gators to chase the volunteer ministers? Not hurt them, but just have them too busy doing cardio to lie to the public. Stace. I bet Feral Cheryl could train them if she wanted to. All right, now let's take a look. Speaking of these volunteer ministers here, you guys, they're still putting out these slash events on, what is this on Eventbrite? Wildlife Relief Supported Donation Center at Scientology LA. This is today, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. This is so typical of Scientology to put out something, an event for, you know, a million hours. There's 24 hours in a day, but trust me when I tell you, Scientology will find a way to turn it into 48. I mean, they just will continue to try and get blood from a rock. And what I find very curious is they've got this donation center set up at Scientology Los Angeles, where the Los Angeles org is right off L. Ron Hubbard Way. And based on video and things that I see there, I don't see people going and getting supplies. We did see video of Scientology volunteer ministers trying to deliver supplies to people's homes, and they were like, no, thank you. Just say no to cults. Hey, Sarasota Jerry, Minnesota mosquitoes are more vicious than Florida gators. I don't know. And I'm fortunate in that the mosquitoes, I don't know if it's the Hawaiian blood they're just not down with, or I don't get the marks. They tend to kind of stay away from me, which I've been thankful for. I can be somewhere with people and, you know, you want to be near me because the mosquitoes, it's like I have a natural barrier around them. I mean, I don't test that theory out all the time, but multiple times other people were bitten. I didn't. And I don't rarely ever put on like a mosquito spray because it's just really hasn't been a problem. Kathy Scogans, I'm glad you're here. Oh my gosh, you guys are like giving me anxiety. Mary Wellings, no poisonous snakes here, but we have to watch for big spiders, including black widows. You know, there's always something everywhere. I think that is just the thing. There's always going to be some crazy creature someplace, and we just got to avoid them. Or at least I do. All right, let's take a look. You know what we haven't looked at in a while? Some Scientology miracles, some good old-fashioned miracles in Scientology when you do their multiple steps on their bridge to total freedom. What they say is you get all these abilities. You know what I'm saying? Like you can change the weather with your mind and turn traffic lights. I don't know if y'all have heard this. This is like big time Scientology wins. And I feel that because it is Aloha Friday and we are going to share some Scientology wins, we should wake up the Office of Special Affairs. So for that, we of course need our little David Miscavige dolls in unison, where I like to have them wake up the Office of Special Affairs. And if you're new to the channel, you don't know who that is. They are Scientology's dirty tricks branch. They handle public relations as well as stalking people and harassing them who like to speak out and share the truth about Scientology. So David Miscavige, please wake up your staff. Extra aggressive, even though it's Aloha Friday. Office of Special Affairs, I know you will want to follow along because here are some wins in Scientology, and maybe they'll even revitalize you. You know what I'm saying? Make you really want to get on the road to freedom, which is a Scientology song. And I apologize if that is triggering to my former Scientology friends here in the audience. All right, let's look at this. So this is from the Underground Bunker. And let's go down to the good part. This comes from their Advance magazine, you know, where they do the operating Thetan levels. Here's one on an operating Thetan's zone of influence. As I've made my way up to the OT levels, my intention has always been to help others around me. I have a relative who had health issues that left him plagued with drug and money problems for 5 years or so. It was difficult to get through to him and hard to convince him to confront anything related to his poor health and subsequent problems. After I started operating Thetan 1, he called me out of the blue and said that a few days prior, he had woken up and his stomach problem had vanished. For the first time ever, he said he wanted to sort out his health while I was on operating Thetan level 2. He was calling me 3 to 4 times a week to tell me about how things were going. When I was on operating Thetan level 3, that's when we really get into the body Thetans and Xenu, he let me know that he was clean, had stopped using drugs, and was doing so well. As of today, he is solvent, has steady work, and even stated that he wants to understand more about Scientology and get connected with the org. I totally attribute his change to my operating Thetan progress. Okay, sometimes I just feel like, Natalie, girl, maybe you just jaded because you're 35 years in this human trafficking cult with 3 generations of your family. But you guys tell me what you think. This whole idea that by doing a Scientology level, that you will change something in the universe of somebody over here. And these things are not related. These operating Thetan levels that this person is talking about does nothing to do with other people or stomachs or addiction. This is a classic example of a Scientologist thinking and trying to attribute something good that happens to justify all the money they're paying and what they're doing in Scientology. And this is obviously somebody who wants to help people. They care about their family member. They want them to do well. But I don't know that this is the way to do it. So let's see here. Where's the other one that I really liked? Here, A Change of Heart. Since 1995, my mother had been suffering from a traumatic loss on the second dynamic. So my guess is second dynamic is sex, family. So if it's this person's mother, maybe she lost her husband, could have lost a child. I was in high school at the time, and she had never really been able to address her loss. As I studied Scientology, I would try to help her using the tech. But for years, she refused to hear anything about it. While I was on new operating Thetan level 4, she suddenly started telling me how she was thinking about that time of her life and that she really wanted to do something about it. In the following weeks, as I did the operating Thetan levels, she started appealing to me for advice, turning to me for help with her life with something that she had never done before. JW. Now, one thing, it's like not to take away, but I'm going to take away. Let's be honest. That's a long time for your mom to have this loss. And maybe because you're her child and she's kind of working through her grief and realizes she's got to start dealing with some of this, you would turn to a family member. So I'm sorry. I don't think I can check the box on this was totally a Scientology thing, because I don't know what auditing body Thetans and learning about Xenu has to do with your family member over here going through grief, especially from a Scientology perspective. What I'm seeing here with these success stories from Scientology is such a stretch. It seems like they're so desperate. I was really hoping to see, I turned the lights, I got the storm to move away, but I don't think there's one like that. I'm going to link it down below so you guys can see it. We're not going to read all of these because some of them are long, but some of them are a bit on the cringe side, I guess is how the kids these days would say it, just very cringe. So check it out. I'm going to link it down below if you'd like a little giggle. I think mostly people who would have been in Scientology before might especially find it kind of interesting and funny, because I look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, did I ever really think like that? And I did, to a degree, because that's what we were told. We were indoctrinated to believe anything good that happens in our life or the people connected to us is because of Scientology. Anything bad that happens is because we're a-holes with overts, sins. Basically, that's like a sin in Scientology. They call them overts, harmful acts. And in Scientology, they tell you if bad things are happening to you, it's because you're committing overts, especially if it's bad things in Scientology, because, they don't do anything wrong. Not at all. It's totally you. They are the kings and queens of, it's not me, it's you. Well, when I decided to leave Scientology, I turned the tables and said, you know what? It's not me, it's you. Right back at them. They didn't like that. They were just really shocked, and I think not used to hearing that. All right, we are going to take a look now. Mona, Fat Grammy, here on YouTube, has created another surveys. A week or two back, we looked at some survey results. This is for former Scientologists. I'm going to link this down below. If you are a former Scientologist and you'd like to participate in filling out this survey, you can do so. I'm going to fill it out with you guys right now so you can see it. The one she did a few weeks ago, Power Lies to Paralyze, went through and presented the information in a very understandable and useful way, and it was shocking. So I think this one is going to be interesting as well. So again, I'm going to link it down below. Where did you spend most of your time in Scientology? Los Angeles, Clearwater, the UK, or where? So for me, that was Los Angeles. Actually, it would be. What age did you enter Scientology? For me, I was a child. Have you participated in 100 or more hours of auditing sessions during your time in Scientology? Yes. Have you participated in 1,000 or more hours of auditing sessions during your time in Scientology? Okay, this one, I'm not sure. 1,000 hours is a lot. And when I think about the actual auditing I did, I mean, even 20, I don't know that it would be 1,000 hours. I'm trying to think, even all my time on the operating Thetan levels, on operating Thetan level 3, even if it was 5 hours of active auditing a day times 300, oh, you know what? Actually, I probably came close or just over. So I'm going to answer yes on that. I'm going to answer yes. During or after your time in Scientology, did you notice any significant issues with memory, concentration, or other cognitive abilities? Yes. Have you experienced any neurological symptoms such as tingling, numbness, dizziness, or seizures that began or worsened during or after your time in Scientology? Yes. During or after your time in Scientology, did you develop any unexplained or strange illness that required medical attention? Why, yes. Were you diagnosed with cancer during or after your involvement with Scientology? No. Did you experience any periods of psychosis, such as hallucinations, delusions, or severe mental disconnection during or after your time in Scientology? I would say no. It's almost like my time in Scientology was one giant delusion. But in the spirit of what the question is really looking for, I'm going to answer no. Did you ever feel pressured to continue auditing or other Scientology practices despite feeling physically or emotionally unwell? Yes. In Scientology, you're not allowed to just stop if you're doing auditing. If something happens in the session and you become emotionally unwell, you have to keep doing it, even physically, because L. Ron Hubbard said, what turns it on will turn it off. I wonder if that could be turned into a protest, kind of a line. What turns it on turns it off for Scientology. So, maybe they see the protest as Well, they would take no causative action for that. So that probably wouldn't work. But it is a belief in Scientology when it comes to auditing. What turns it on will turn it off. So it happens in a Scientology session. You have to keep going. Were you ever part of the Sea Org or subjected to disciplinary programs while in Scientology? Yes, I was. I got a committee of evidence, which is like a Scientology court martial. I was put under security watch multiple times, having to do lower conditions in Scientology, which is a series of steps to work yourself up in a good standing of the group so they don't shun you. Did you feel that your overall physical or mental health has been negatively impacted by your involvement in Scientology? That would be a resounding yes. Absolutely. So it really is that simple. I'm going to link it down below. If you are a former Scientologist and you want to participate, please do. Hey, Eric. Is that Gabrielle too? Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm watching everybody come in and saying hi. Yeah, Scientology up north. Isn't that so wrong? It's so wrong. It's so wrong. Let's see. Let's move on now. Let's go to speaking of Scientology up north, I actually have her clip next. She sat down and did an interview with the SP chef. If you do not know the SP chef, you want to know him. You should go check him out. You can find him here on YouTube as well as Scientology up north. I will link this down below, but let's take a look at a clip from this video. You know what helps is if I pull it up so you guys can see it too. We can be very interactive that way instead of me just watching it by myself.
Okay, then we have the life repair, date completed 1999.
Life repair, 1999, 8 years old. Good gracious.
Okay, what is life repair?
I have never done the course, but it's as I understand it, it's basically a course that you do if basically your life is complete in shits and you don't know what to do.
Okay.
So life repair. But I've never done it myself. I don't know how intense it is, what it involves exactly. But I've always heard like, oh my God, like yet he or she had to do life repair. It's always like, oh wow, okay, you know.
Yeah. Purification 2001, so at 10 years old. And this is
so they're going through an actual Scientology, what life repair is, what a life history is. You have to fill this out multiple times, especially in the Sea organization, this life history. When I did my first life history, I think I was 15 years old. And I remember filling it out. I was in Los Angeles at the Blue Buildings. I was in Hawaii and I had joined staff for Scientology and they sent me to Los Angeles to do training. And I remember filling it out for the first time and thinking, what in the world? Some of these questions are pornographic. Some of these questions, I don't even know what that is. It really is crazy. It's so invasive and they have you do it regardless of your age. Again, I was 15 and the amount of details they want about any sexual experience you had, there definitely seems to be an obsession with that in Scientology. Not doing it, but they want to hear about it. They don't want you to do it. They don't want to allow you to do it. But if you do it, they want to know and they want details. I'm like, Scientology, for all their talk about being like, you know, they're out 2D, which is basically like if you're in the Sea organization having sex outside of marriage or any type of SA, all of that, for all their, you know, they present themselves as like, oh no, we're against that. We're against human trafficking, blah, blah, blah. You sure do think your members are really doing a lot of stuff, because why would you ask such invasive questions, and especially of people of any age? Why? Because kids are big beings in little bodies in Scientology. That is very much what they believe. Now let's take a look. There's some news from Audit LA, you guys. Check this out. Audit LA did a community post. She's out in Los Angeles. You can catch her going to a lot of meetings, ringing the bell, raising the alarm about Scientology. Audit LA says, per Carla from Hugo's office, the city attorney, this is in Los Angeles, is enforcing the code violation orders and the hearing will be mid-February. She said she will email me the details. I'm like, praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Woohoo! It's about dang time. and a thank you, Jesus. Finally, something. She has been working so hard on this. If you're not already following Audit LA, go check her out. Really hard on this. And now it's like her persistence, I think, is about to pay off, or at least we hope. Now that there's going to be this hearing. So will Scientology be forced to become ADA compliant and get rid of those stupid planters up and down L. Ron Hubbard Way and around the buildings there? We shall see. We shall see. But for updates on that, you definitely want to check out Audit LA. Let's see here. I had this funny, you know what? Let's just look at it. It's this clip from Sarah Silverman. Silverman? Is it Silverman? I forgot the girl's name. Just fair warning, you guys. The brain fog is strong with me this week. Lady menopause has been taking me for a ride. I have been going to sleep way too early because I'm so exhausted and waking up at 3:30 in the morning, which makes me so exhausted. It's right now almost 9:30 Minnesota time. I've already done a full day. And I have an entire full day to go. In fact, today at 2 p.m. Central, I'm going to sit down and interview Liz Gale is going to join us, and we're going to talk about why she protests and what's going on with that new mission in the small town that's right near her. In fact, we are going to look at a clip from her protest that she did recently. Keep an eye out for that. But yeah, the brain fog has just been like nutty. So I don't remember. Sarah Silverman, that is her name. Check this out.
Working on this bit about Scientology, like, it's only weird to us because it's new. We make fun of it because it's batshit crazy, but it's no more batshit crazy than Catholicism or anything, right?
What's funny is she's talking to Jerry Seinfeld about this, and Jerry Seinfeld early on was a Scientologist for a hot minute.
It's new to hear people worship a guy named Ron in our ears. Feels weird. We know Ron's, and like Ron L, he had to make his name L. Ron because there was another Ron Hubbard in the Writers Guild. That's how recent of.
He seems to think it's very funny. It is funny. And she really calls it out, except for the part, it is not just like every other religion. The thing about Scientology is much of the practices are harmful. Some of the belief, it's like, believe what you want. Believe and worship rocks for all I care. But if you're enforcing disconnection, if you're auditing children or having children audit adults and in doing these things that are just not appropriate or healthy for either party, you know, not down with that. Not to mention the harassment and the stalking too from Scientology. When people say Scientology is just as weird and strange as every religion. No, it's not. It might be weird or strange if you're not familiar with the beliefs, like in Christianity. If you didn't understand when people say, I'm going to drink the blood of Christ. If you don't know about that, you'd be like, oh my gosh, what's up with that? Like, I get that point of view. But Scientology is dangerous. Scientology causes harm. Scientology breaks up families. Scientology mentally, emotionally abuses people. And there's a history of physical violence in the Sea organization, mainly at the top with David Miscavige, who's laying on the floor right now. But Office of Special Affairs, some of you may or may not know, but David Miscavige, you might know, because I don't know if you guys read like Mike Rinder's book or Jeff Hawkins or many of the other reports that have come out that he has physically beat his staff. And I just hope it's not happening to you, that hasn't like worked its way down and at your level, whoever you are who has been tasked with watching videos here on YouTube about Scientology, because you guys got to track anything anti-Scientology. There is a way out. It's not okay. That behavior is not okay. I don't care who you are in Scientology or out of Scientology. It's like, no, David Miscavige does not get to physically abusive staff and lock them in trailers and deny them food and sleep and completely mistreat them and violate their human rights. No, that is not okay. Meanwhile, you're running around with your Citizens Commission on Human Rights, acting like, oh, human rights, we're all for it. No, you're not. And there was a protest outside there, and we are going to look at that. Yes, we are. Catching up. Okay. Let's take a look at Scientology Audit Streets LA. So first off, before we talk about his swatting, we have to talk about his fashion advice that he gave. Let's see here. check this out. If you're thinking about like, how do I dress for a protest? You know, I'm going out, or maybe I want to do some cop watching, because he does have another channel, Film the Police LA. He had some fashion advice for us, y'all. Let's take a look at this.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you something. If you ever want to be combination, two things. You want to be a good cop watcher and a good protester of Scientology. It's really all about the socks. You gotta pay close attention to the socks.
Look at that.
Right? And it's not just, there's a message you gotta send. You gotta roar. I'm telling you, it's all about the socks. Guys, I'm gonna tell you something.
It's all about the socks, and you just gotta roar. I love it. I want those socks now. I didn't want them before, but seeing them on streets, feet, being out, I'm like, now I want them. I've been influenced. I have been influenced. Now I want those socks. Right? Those are snazzy socks. Yep, they sure are. They sure are. Fuzzy pink handcuffs. Yes, sock tech is important. Yes. It's not just about the signs and the gear and the microphones and the cameras. You gotta bring out the socks. The socks. I love socks. I am still on the hunt for like, I love, you know, fun novelty socks, but they tend to not be comfortable. And we're going to get into a little bit of, well, I tell you guys about my sweaty feet all the time. So you already know it is part of the menopause. I seem to get these cold sweats where my hand to my feet will sweat. And I'm trying to find like which sock is comfortable, because sometimes when I wear socks, that actually doesn't happen. But so if you guys know you got the hookup on some good socks to wear with tennis shoes or boots, because, you know, I live in Minnesota, let me know, because I'm in the market and I don't know. I can't figure it out. I cannot figure it out. Nobody has ever sat me down and gone, Natalie, let me tell you about socks. So those socks look fun, but I got a feeling they're not going to work as much. So Natalie at lifeafteraccult.com for your sock recommendations. If you know of a brand, I am dead serious about that. Jesse, good to see you. Aloha, coming in on this Aloha Friday. It is so, I love that you guys like to celebrate Aloha Friday with me. That's why I think we need a song. We got to come up with a song. It's going to happen, you guys. It is going to happen. Let's see. Where are we at? What do we got? What do we got here? Okay. Let's pull up the next clip. Oop. Gosh, like I need to put this on Do Not Disturb or something. Hold on, you guys. Hello. Thank you for calling Life After a Cult. This is Natalie. How can I help you? You think you're in a cult? Okay. Tell me. You signed some papers and now they control everything you do. Oh, yeah, that's suspicious. Okay, tell me this though. Do they dictate what you wear? Well, that's your house. It has to be painted an approved color. And you can only have one garden gnome. Well, I mean more like what you wear and stuff. Okay, tell me this. Do they restrict your behavior? Absolutely. Okay, tell me about that. You got fined for parking your car the wrong way in your own driveway. Well, tell me this. Are there punishments for questioning leadership? That is like right out of the bite model for cults. Big time. Okay, tell me about it. You asked if you could change the mailbox policy and now they watch you like you're a troublemaker. Okay. You know, I mean, it kind of does sound serious. Do they control your finances? You have to pay them hundreds of dollars just to exist? Okay. Well, I am sorry to tell you, but I do not think you are in a cult. I think that is actually an HOA. I know sometimes they can be worse than cults. I mean, not Scientology, but yeah. No, I'm all about flying your freak flag. That's why I don't live where there's an HOA. I don't think. All right. You have a cult-free day. Just trying to help out where we can here. Word is getting out, but I think because there's so much news and word is getting out about cults that some people are confusing. situations that might sound like it's a cult, but when you really dig in, no, that's just an HOA. But it can feel culty. My HOA people, I know you know that. I know you know that. Okay, let's look at another clip from Scientology Audit Streets LA and his fabulous socks. He is out minding his own business, going for a run. Who does he run into? Scientology recruiters. They completely interrupted his run. How dare they? Check it out.
Now, here's the thing, right? These guys are anti-psychiatry. This is the Kaiser building. This is their psychiatry building. They're going to run into Kaiser Psychiatry building, which they are against. They're trying to end them, but then they use them for cover. It's the Scientologists coming through. Scientologists coming through out here trying to recruit. You guys thought you were slick. Here goes the Scientologist trying to recruit. I walked up on him. I didn't even see him. I'm going to stop at a light. All of a sudden, she turned around and looked at me. I said, oh, that's you. Oh, that's you. So, we're just going to escort them back to base.
Escort them back to base. And he did. Went back to the blue buildings there. They went about their business doing their thing. But can you imagine? You're a Scientology recruiter. Maybe you spent some time at the Hollywood Testing Center, but you in some way were introduced, met, saw Scientology Audit Streets LA, William Good. Now you're walking down the street, heading out your Scientology personality test flyers, whatever your deal is, and you look up and you're like, you lock eyes. And then Streets is on his run and he's like, you. And they're like, you. Then they just head on and go about their business, and he goes about his business. But after this happens, fast forward a little bit. Watch this, what happens with Scientology Audit Streets LA.
All right. No. Why? What happened?
What?
Why? What happened?
I got a call.
Uh-oh.
You pulled a gun on somebody.
Of course. I'm also
So if you guys can hear, officer got a call. They're showing up because the report was that William Good pulled a pew pew on somebody. But the casualness of this is what is, kind of halfway hilarious, because they know exactly who he is. They know that this happens. Let's see. Let's watch the rest of this.
on live stream right now, so you kind of figure what's going on. I know. I'm sure you did. You think I got a gun? No, of course not. Okay. Huh?
Stick your hand in your pocket. All right. Wait, I'm serious.
All right, so what do you want to do?
Were you messing with somebody?
No, I was not messing with somebody in front of him. You can go ahead and look at my live stream. I've been live streaming for the last 55 minutes.
Now, this swatting is interesting. You can hear sirens in the background. Are they coming to show up and get him? But this cop doesn't even get out of the car. He's yelling from his car. Okay, just take your hands out of your pockets. I mean, I feel like he knew what was up. Like he knew that this is not the man that you go rush at and, try to arrest. Like they know what's up.
So that would have been about 15 minutes ago. All right.
I will.
All right. Anything else?
No.
All right. They say I don't get swatted. The difference is when they come, when they swat me, cops show up a little differently. Because that guy right there, he knows. I have an officer profile about him. It's Officer Wolf Chief. Remember, I showed my location when I turned it around. But anyway, yeah, guys, nice try swatting. How well did that work for you guys?
Doesn't even break a sweat, doesn't break his stride there. But yeah, very interesting timing indeed. I don't know who called it in. Yeah, Lizzie, is it Lizzie? Whoever called that in, I don't think they planned on it working out like that. Surprise, didn't work. Very true. Very true. Anna says, I watched that stream this morning. Love his swagger. It's the socks. It's the socks. Now I'm going to need to see his socks every time. Is there a collection? Are there more socks? Will he show us? Leave it to me to get fixated on not the most important thing there, but my brain goes right to, yep, now I can only think about the socks. I am going to be hyper fixated about it. Now I want socks. Now I need to shop for socks. It's just sometimes how my brain works, and then I get over it and I move on to something else. But I'll tell you what my brain never leaves, my focus on exposing Scientology and other cults. That is for sure. Constance June says, Streets shows how to handle getting swatted. Did not work for them. Yeah, it didn't escalate. I love that the guy didn't even get out of the car. That is the part that really, I think, completely cracks me up. Now let's take a look at a protest outside the Citizens Commission on Human Rights, where they have their psychiatry and industry of death, where they work to turn people away from valid forms of mental health therapy because L. Ron Hubbard wasn't down with that on account of the fact that he was rejected by psychiatry and the medical community. And after that, he was like, oh, psychiatry bad, psychology bad. Forget the fact that they're saying some things from it that I stole and use in Dianetics and Scientology, but you won't accept me in my methods and see me for the genius that I am and acknowledge my delusions. Psychiatry bad. So Scientology goes on and forms the Citizens Commission on Human Rights, which they claim their message is to basically get rid of psychiatry, get rid of psychiatric abuses. They also promote, like in Scientology, remember they're like that Declaration of Human Rights that they promote too, which is really, really rich because you're like, excuse me, I'm not sure there's an organization / quote religion that exists that violates human rights for individuals as much as Scientology does, especially in the Sea Organization. It's absolutely nutty. So let's take a look. This is from Dan Walks LA. Lara FM was out there. Let's see. Let me pull this up. It was so great seeing them protest together. Let's just look at a little clip.
Their tax exempt status is allowing them to get away with this criminal conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy when it's a reality,
Well,
is
that's
it?
right.
And
Here
nor
it
was
is.
Snow White. Look up Operation Snow White, everybody. There you go, honkity honks. Everybody,
right. All the
agrees.
honks. That's
the
right.
whole city agrees.
The city rejects you. Yeah.
Their tax exempt.
I love Dan Walks LA too. The city rejects you. This whole city rejects you. And it is so true. And the Citizens Commission on Human Rights, Scientology Front Group, deserves all the extra attention that it's gotten and it's going to continue to get. Because a few weeks ago, I think it was, Growing Up in Scientology shared how the Citizens Commission on Human Rights is not just a front group for Scientology, but it's actually the little branch there that the Office of Special Affairs, you still with me? The Office of Special Affairs uses to pay people that Scientology uses to attack people who are exposing Scientology. And they move the money through the Citizens Commission on Human Rights. So it's incredibly appropriate on multiple levels to have people out there who want to be calling that out and exposing it and continuing to be there. So they have no choice but to shutter themselves inside and frost their windows and close their door and all of those things and let people know the truth about it. So fantastic seeing them out there. Protests are really popping up and starting to take off again. We're going to talk to Liz Gale this afternoon, 2 p.m. Central, about her protests out at the new, what's being called Baby Blue. She was out there with What's Up with Nora and some other people, and they were protesting. This is in a small town in Oregon. Scientology is coming for your small towns, and they're doing it through this mission network. And I said that with quotes in case you're driving and not watching your phone or anything. This is part of how they're doing it. So it might seem like a little thing, but it's really a big thing. We're seeing multiple propaganda from Scientology about how they're opening these ideal missions. It seems to be they might be pivoting a little bit away from the ideal organizations, the larger Scientology organizations. And by larger, I only mean in terms of size of building, not the people inside. It's still tiny, tiny, tiny. Well, to create an ideal mission would probably take less money. You would need less space. You would need less staff. They're run a little bit differently. It seems that Scientology is working really hard. I think they also opened one in Tokyo too recently, to open these missions to go out and recruit for Scientology. Now, the crazy thing about this, well, there's multiple crazy things about it, but it's kind of like, well, Scientology, that's not really different from your other larger organizations. You're still operating off of the same policies by L. Ron Hubbard. So I don't know why you think it's going to be any different. But if we know anything about Scientology and its leader, David Miscavige, we know that he likes to continue to do the exact same thing, expect a different result, not get it, but keep doing the exact same thing. Never look within and go, all these protests, all these former members sharing their experiences. Why are there more former Scientologists than actual Scientologists? They never stop to think to ask this. It really is interesting how the mind control kicks in. And honestly, to a degree, there are many who've asked that because they're no longer in Scientology. It just sometimes takes a while to do that. And I'm hoping that channels like mine and others are a great place for them to land, learn more about the truth about Scientology. It's why I like to interview people who can bring to the forefront their stories, their experience, their evidence about Scientology, even going way back when. In fact, tomorrow, which is Saturday, I'm going to be doing an interview with Janice Grady. She was in the Sea Organization, worked under L. Ron Hubbard as a child, and we're doing that Saturday at 3 p.m. Central. I'm very excited. I've never talked to Janice before. She is a wealth of knowledge, has so much history. I hope you guys can catch it on the live stream. If not live, catch it on the replay. Okay, now let's take a look. Let's take a look at Liz Gale when she was outside of this mission in oh my God, brain fart, Oregon. See, it comes. It's just a little slow. Let's take a look at this. I got to say, Liz Gale is the cutest alien ever. She had this adorable costume on and she did her makeup really cool. Check this out.
See this Scientology building? So I live in small town Oregon, and Scientology is now, they're starting small towns. They're starting to infiltrate small towns, and I'm against it because I grew up in Scientology and I know how they raise children and treat children, and I'm against it. And mostly I want people, because this just opened like 2 months ago, and I want people to know about all of the crimes that they are currently accused of. Like, they don't have to take my word for it. I'm trying to get them to Google. Thank you. Yes, Delphi is here. See this Scientology building?
Love it. And we are going to talk to the woman herself this afternoon. Hope you can be here for that. Again, you can always catch it on the live stream. Yeah, we love Liz Gale. Thank you guys for all the kind words and aloha for Liz Gale being out there. There were a group of them. What's Up with Nora was there. I think there were 2 or 3 other people. We'll have to ask Liz who that was. I didn't quite get who those people were, but it was great seeing them out there protesting Scientology, raising awareness, letting people know in this small town what's up with Scientology. Liz is going to share something this afternoon where there's some firsthand feedback of the effects of the protests they've done so far. And it is interesting. We're going to look at that this afternoon. Oh, good, Marlene. I'm glad that you'll be there. Yeah, Marcy, they did a great job. Great job. Indeed. Now, there were even more protests against Scientology going on across the pond in the UK. We've been talking about here on the channel multiple news stories where there have been these Scientology advertisements in the London Tube, out in other major tourist areas for Scientology, despite the fact that they won't advertise fast food. But you know what? Bring on that human trafficking call. Their Checo Cash. And out there was Apostate Alex and a group of people. Let's take a look at a clip from that.
Go on, Rachel. Why are they not banned on advertisement on transport along the
They were out there. These signs are fantastic. They had a big banner. It says, why are fast food ads banned, but abusive cults? What's that other one say? Cult adverts enable abuse. I love the bright colors. The banners like this bright yellow as well. They're doing a great job out there. I'll link it down below so you can see the whole video as well. Lupita says, Rachel is a powerhouse. You follow her on Insta. Cool. I need to I am like the worst on Instagram. I just, the only thing I go on Instagram for is to go through. I love the reels. I'm addicted. It's a guilty pleasure. It's actually a pleasure because I don't feel guilty about it because it's funny. Maybe a little bit. Videos of people falling over and stuff, especially on slides. Just like, it cracks me up. There was this slide at a park where the parents were like, hey, this thing is dangerous. Kids are flying out of this thing. Someone's going to get hurt. So a cop came and tried out the slide and they videoed it. And the cop goes flying out of this thing. He was fine. Okay, but I'm horrible. I almost never post on Instagram. I wonder if I should get a little more active on social media. It's one more thing to do, maybe later. I don't need to take that on right now. I got enough on my plate. Hey, Nancy, watching from the SO in Northern Ontario. Nice. Love having our Canadians here on this Aloha Friday. Buttercup 49 says, Scientologists' feelings are hurt because they can't recruit. Very true. They do get kind of bent about that because they're not able to recruit on account of the amount of people out there who are protesting. Samantha, you saw that video? Yeah. And the thing too, even if there aren't protesters out there, word is getting out so well that people know. I mean, look what happened when they tried to go door to door with supplies. People are like, no. Just say no to cults. Just say no. Okay, Nancy says that's pronounced Sui. Is that a location, a place? I don't know my Canadian geography very well. Obviously, you guys have heard me try to pronounce these things. Thanks, Jessie. Oh, just Sue. Okay, thanks, Nancy. Hey, Don Gloves. All right, where am I at? Oh. You guys, we got to watch this. This was a little video. So this is I've been learning more about Mormonism, and trying to understand, right? You got the FLDS, you got the LDS, but there's things about the LDS that are still kind of like, I don't know. And it's things like this. This clip is from Mormon Stories. And it reminds me so much of Scientology. We're going to look at the clip and we're going to discuss this. I know you guys are going to connect the dots on this.
It was 185 when I started my mission. I got down to 130.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's 55 pounds, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I just kept asking for help.
What about your mission president, though?
He was convinced that I was sick because I had sinned. It got to the point where, again, I was throwing up blood, again, lost incredible amounts of muscle mass. My companion had been directed to try to draw it out of me.
Draw it out of him. He's sick. He's physically sick. And they're like, oh, you're sick because you're sinning. I mean, it's like Scientology, right? Oh, you're sick because you're connected to a suppressive person. Somebody is suppressing you. Yeah, Scientology. People in Scientology. Your oppressive actions, your enforced disconnection, your obsessive control, all of that. That's what's adding to the stress of making you sick. And here they are. This guy, when he was a kid, was on this mission and not getting proper medical care.
As I had met with him a couple times and basically was like, maybe it's this, right? Literally, maybe this is happening because I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not really worthy. My companion has me call this mission president and he just says, I know. I know, you'd think I was murdering children or something. I was interviewed.
Oh, it's so heartbreaking. And It's what makes it culty, you know? I think about this like with science, with medical, like a lot of things can be proven that we know are actually helpful, but to still be like, no, you're sick because you have sin, or you're sick because you have overt, or you're connected to a suppressive person. Get the actual medical care, right? I mean, maybe start there. Let's start there. Sometimes you got to stop the bleeding before you get crazy with your Scientology wanting to do a touch assist or something like that. Hey, December, welcome. Love your videos. I've never commented on a YouTube video before. You're the first. I feel so special. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here and jumping in. Aloha. Perfect time to do it on an Aloha Friday. Irina says the guy behind Mormon Stories is pretty much their version of Chris Shelton. Very knowledgeable and good interviewer, but quite politically far on the left. So he kind of mixes those things in. Interesting. Yeah, I've the stuff that I've seen on there pretty much has been around, talking about Mormonism and people who've left and all of those things. I haven't gotten into too much of the other content if he does that. But these interviews they just blow my mind. That's right, Arena. It does feel culty. I'm ill. I have a flu and a fever. What did you do to pull that in? That would be the Scientology answer. Exactly. Yeah, Don, gloves. Exactly. It's not what they're doing to me. I'm not worthy. So sad. Exactly. I must be doing something wrong. If I have doubts about Scientology or my cult, because this does seem to be a common denominator, it must be me. I somehow need to improve myself. It's so much self brainwashing. Those blinders come in because you are indoctrinated in L. Ron Hubbard's technology. It's repeated. You say these things over and over again. It's very hypnotic so that it becomes muscle memory. It becomes the thing you think about. What would L. Ron Hubbard do? What does Scientology say about this? That is your answer. That's where you seek all of your answers. And then you go around wondering why your life is so messed up and why you're actually miserable and broke and all the things. And you think it's because of me. There are so many people. This is one of the more heartbreaking things about Scientology. So many good people in Scientology that could be so successful and living amazing lives for themselves and their families who are missing out on that, who are not having this time with their family because Scientology has convinced them that clearing the planet is so much more important, that they're just on this mission. I am not on that mission. I'm not looking to clear the planet. I'm not looking to save the planet. I am looking to save myself. You know what I'm saying? It's just, especially right now, I'm like, I've told you guys this, as I continue to work through my grief process, putting my life back together, I find that what would the word be? Tolerance, or I'm getting so much better at knowing what I have the bandwidth for and what I don't have it for. And I'm realizing that as I work through this and I get further in my healing and I'm able to start taking on more, I'm still going to maintain that. For me, it's maintaining my focus. What I'm here to do with my channel is to expose Scientology and other cults and share life after a cult. I'm going to be doing more content like that too, there's so many things that going through since I lost my partner, Tony, is really reopening my eyes about my life after a cult, about my healing after Scientology, and learning tools today to deal with my grief that I was never educated on or given growing up in Scientology. Being in Scientology for 35 years, it's such an eye-opening experience. And when I do talk about it with you guys, there's so many people never in Scientology, but all in on ending this cult, who have similar experiences. It's just Scientology makes it worse in ways because you're so limited in resources. I think often like, wow, how would this be happening? What would be happening if I was still in Scientology and working through this level of grief and pain? I can't even imagine. I wouldn't be working through it. I would probably be making myself sick from not dealing with it, from just putting it in a box and putting it off to the side, which is basically what you do in Scientology, because you can't deal with that. You're too busy clearing the planet. You're too busy putting ethics in on other people and being so up their butts and in their business because you have to save the world. It's up to you. No, Not for me. Not anymore. Not anymore. Oh, Eric, that's funny. This is only my 46,500th post on your stream. And thank you for that, Eric. Happy Aloha Friday to you. I'm glad that you're here. Oh my gosh. I'm catching up here. Amber says, sometimes I still do the what did I do for this to happen to me? I try not to do it, but it's hard. Very true. You know, what I have found helpful for me is learning new tools, especially like I've gotten a lot of gain out of cognitive behavioral therapy. And those tools where to help you like reframe things and see it outside of this box that we were just forced to see it in. Gary, aloha, Natalie. What would Ron do? Oh my God. I'm so glad to not have to ask that or even think about it anymore. But I'm glad you're here from Scotland, Gary. It's got to be kind of getting late there. Well, maybe not. Let's see. Treasure bloke. Natalie, you said that you like post-apocalypse films and TV. Can I post some suggestions in the comments? Just saying, because live, but relates to previous vid. Absolutely. Feel free to email me, Natalie@lifeafteroccult.com. But yeah, no, I love the post-apocalyptic stuff. I really do. Go ahead. I would love that. And remember, you guys, if you see something, say something. Scientology, cult related, someone you're following, you'd like to see their channel where there's stuff highlighted, if we can fit it in, send me a clip. If you send me a video, please include a timestamp. There's so much content out there. I can't possibly go through all of it, but try to get in as much as we can when we do these recaps here. And you can send it to Natalie. Oh my God. See what I'm saying about the brain fog? I forgot my own email. I just said it. Natalie@lifeafteroccult.com. Somebody earlier had a comment there about my did I save it? I don't think I did. My menopause sister. I have to go back and look at that. I will do that. If you all could do me a solid and hit that like button, check your subscribe, hit your subscribe. And if you want to get notifications when I go live, you click subscribe and then you do the all button so that you set your notifications to all. So you get all of them. That's supposed to help. I do that on other channels and I feel like I'm starting to get more notifications now. So hopefully that'll help. I don't know. Let's all try it out. And yep, James Steele, be kind to yourself and each other. I agree. I hope you all get out and have an amazing cult-free day.